But like I say, there's a whole industry built up around racial hucksters trying to get us to hate each other. It's a copycat thing. If America has this whole grievance industry, why shouldn't Canada, even if we didn't have the same problems? And so look at this. A new survey shows that racism isn't really a big deal in Canada, but the racism industry is furious. Let me read the headline. Racism not a big problem? Activist says survey shows Canadians in denial. I'm not wrong, it's the children. Let me quote the story. A new national survey shows that Canadians are in denial about racism, says one Toronto activist. The Environics Institute for Survey Research and the Canadian Race Relations Foundation released the Race Relations in Canada 2019 survey on Tuesday, outlining Canadian views on racial discrimination. But you see how the story was written? Before they even tell you what the survey says, an actual statistically sound survey, they tell you that it's all wrong because a Toronto activist said we're all in denial. What? Let me read some more. Canadians were optimistic reporting on other aspects, race and discrimination. 8 in 10 Canadians said race relations in their own communities are generally good, with the largest majority of positive views held by white respondents, 84%, and the smallest majority among Indigenous respondents, 69%. So Canadians are optimistic, eh? They think race relations are good. Even Aboriginal Canadians, 69% think race relations are good. Oh, but they're all wrong, you see, because some activist says so, and he's got to earn a living, people, so let's be mad at each other. The survey also found that Canadians were more likely to view racial discrimination as the attitudes and actions of individuals, not a systemic issue embedded in Canadian institutions. 2/3 of respondents said people from all races have the same opportunities to succeed in life. That is a fantasy, said Toronto activist and writer Desmond in an interview on CTV News Channel. Unsurprisingly, a lot of Canadians are in denial that racism is a systemic thing. Here, listen to him.
And here's the thing, Todd, we can ask Canadians how they feel about this all they want to. The only people whose opinions on this subject matter are the people who are experiencing racism. Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, Black and Indigenous people in particular, because this study shows that we're experiencing the most racism, duh.
Got it. So millions of Canadians who think things are pretty good, and that maybe there's a few bad apples out there, or maybe there's just some cranky people. Well, those people are wrong. There's just this one guy who it just so happens his income, his whole celebrity depends on calling his own country racist, his own neighbors racist and white supremacists. So believe this guy. Sorry, buddy. If Canada were white supremacist, you probably wouldn't be on CTV calling us white supremacists. It's a paradox that way. Desmond Cole, professional race baiter, he's just wrong. At least that's what the science says, and by science I mean a survey, if that can be called science. Here, take a look at the actual study here. Let me show you the survey they're talking about. Look at the chart on page 9. Not only do most Canadians think race relations are good, we think it's getting better. 34% say it's improved, 41% say it's staying the same. True, 18% say things are worse, but again, those are numbers that show a success. Things are the same or getting better. That's not what white supremacy looks like. On page 10, almost everyone says our race relations are better here than in the US. That's probably true. But that's a problem for Desmond Cole and all the other hucksters. How are they going to hustle if we're all fine without them to pour salt in our wounds? Maybe he should go down to the States. They're probably looking for a grievance monger like him. Look at the chart on page 12. Overwhelmingly, people say we all get along, we can all get ahead. Just one more chart. No wonder they didn't mention this on the CTV story. Page 13. Will all racialized people in Canada be treated with respect in your lifetime? Now, racialized is a weird way of saying visible minorities, and you can see that they've broken down the answers by race. Now, being treated with respect is such a subjective question. It's not, will you be treated equally before the law? We already have that. It's not, will you be able to send your kids to any university, get any job, be a success? We already have all of that. So the question is, will you be treated with respect? That's a feelings question. All right, fine, let's ask a feelings question. 58% of whites say yes, we'll all be treated with respect. And look at the next line. 63% of Chinese people think so. They think Canada is less racist than guilty white liberals. So look at the next line. 69% of South Asian people, that means people from India or Pakistan, they think we'll all be treated with respect. They love it here. And even look, 63% Aboriginal people say so, which is quite something, since I would say no, they are treated disrespectfully by the Indian Act. They don't care. And even the black community that Desmond Cole claims to speak for, 50% of them say, yeah, respect, almost identical to what white people say. I think white people are the most guilty about this country. Everyone else pretty much loves it. One more chart, page 14. Asks to visible minorities only. Will your kids face more or less racism than you? And they all say the same or less. All of them. No one in real life thinks we're racist, except this grouchy ingrate on CTV calling us all white supremacists. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.